Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
There we go. That is it. We're ready. It is our Tuesday edition of Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott, Tyson, Drew, DeArmond with you. We're going to be in the chairs until 9 a.m. on a Tuesday morning. 256-576-4977. That is what we, that's the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Feel free to join the program throughout the next 2 hours. And yesterday did kick off spring practice for the Auburn Tigers on the practice fields for the first time under the Hugh Freeze era. And Hugh Freeze talking about depth charts.
We won't narrow down the reps in spring. We will in fall. You have to, but spring we won't. I mean, everybody got the same number of reps today. And we're going to rotate some people. Look, I told them today in the team meeting, I mean this, there is no depth chart. I don't care what group you trot out there with on the field right now. I don't have in my mind this is a first team, a second team, a third team guy. You know, you're going to get the reps, and we're going to rotate different people in with this group that runs out there and grade every single rep of it and kind of figure out where we are after spring. But
there you go, Hugh Freeze, Auburn Tigers. First day of spring practice in the books. They've got 14 more to go, but they are kicking off the spring before we turn the calendar to March.
Yeah, just kind of surreal. That Hugh and his staff are getting started this early, but I want to say Vanderbilt started even earlier than that. I mean,
they did.
They did. It was right after Valentine's Day. I don't know. I think
it was like the 24th. It may have been like within the last 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, There's some schools that are starting even sooner, but again, and I agree with what Hugh said. I mean, especially if you're a first-year head coach. And you're changing everything, and I think that is completely accurate. I mean, I know the assistant head coach, Carnell Cadillac-Williams, still coaching running back, Zach Etheridge still, coaching the safeties and things of that nature, but everything's different. You got a different offense, a different defense. You brought in 40% of your roster, I think, is new when you take into account the transfer portal.
Yeah.
So there's so many pieces, and they're going to get a chance to look at everything, and then when the next transfer portal window opens in May, then it'll be another free-for-all. See, what you're missing and what you think you need to upgrade, and is Robbie Ashford the answer, and things of that nature. So it's going to be interesting.
TJ Finley. It was weird seeing
Finley.
They
kept saying, well, he went out. He came out there, man.
Yeah,
they're like, he still got to finish school, but he's going to go through workouts and then end up at his 5th school, 7th, 8th. Hell, I don't know. But I think he's going to, once he finishes this semester, though, he's going to graduate. So he'll be able to be a graduate transfer, and in all seriousness, he'll probably be going to his 3rd school. But again, and if he graduates like he's slated to do, more power to him. I mean, I've said that repeatedly. If you got your degree, bruh, and you don't like your place on the depth chart,
oh yeah, no problem with that.
Go anywhere.
Yeah, no problem with that. You've heard that right.
What are we looking at here?
That's a major blizzard on the East Coast now.
Now,
the West Coast.
I was afraid. I was going to say, is that
no. The West Coast got hit last week.
Right, I knew they did. I thought, are they still getting hit?
No, the West Coast got hit last week. The East Coast is getting hit now.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And you're used to the East Coast getting
hit.
You're
that
not
doesn't
used to
faze
baseball
me.
series getting canceled because of blizzards.
Well, there's everything. Yeah, I mean, you look at it, Southern Cal, Pepperdine. I mean, Alabama and Auburn both affected by the snowstorms.
Yeah, Alabama ended up playing High Point because High Point was going to go out there, and they ended up not going to California.
Auburn was supposed to go to USC and play. Alabama was supposed to go to Pepperdine and play, and none of those happened because of Mother Nature. She's still undefeated, by the way.
Oh, she's undefeated. There's no doubt about that. Some people would say that's symbolism out there.
Anyway. So there we go. 256-576-4977. The Auburn Tigers kicking off spring practice. And if you want to watch and hear the entire Hugh Freeze press conference, head to our YouTube page. It's all there. You can even watch the spring practice video Auburn kind enough to put out a little bit of video, so we've got it on our YouTube page there. You can watch some Auburn spring football drills. Mark from Huntsville with us out of the gates this morning. Good morning, Mark.
Hey, morning, guys.
What's up, man?
Hey, I was wondering if I can play a sound clip of Rama Jammer real quick.
I know you've done.
Yeah, go ahead. What is that?
No.
No, I mean, you've done certainly winners, losers many times on the drive.
Hey, Freeze, I'm sure he'll do well. I just think Auburn's a program that there's just too many cooks in the kitchen. There always will be. I'll leave it at that. You can read in between the lines there. What I was going to call is about programming on the station, and this is a good thing for you two guys, get a big raise and everything, get Wes involved. I'm sure he's big on this. But here's my idea as a loyal listener and a guy that goes to your sponsors and unless you guys have six-figure jobs after the show, and I don't know how all that works, but I would love to see this show go 4 hours every day.
Do you feel like sitting in a chair 4 hours, Drew?
And let me move, because first of all, it's torture. When your show goes off, it just goes to hell in a handbasket. I'm gonna leave it like that. Okay. And so we got 2 hours of
In a fishing boat.
Yeah. Well, whatever you got to do, But I don't care if it's recruiting for 40 minutes and this for that. I'm a former teacher, superintendent, etc. We used to have to differentiate and move stuff around, but your show is outstanding. This is a compliment. And Wes and Steve need to go until midnight. I'm kidding. But they it just. I know it's a 2 hour and a 2 hour. And I didn't know if you could comment on that, why it's not maybe a 3 and a 3 at all the stations in your Birmingham market. I think back, I don't know if Jay Barker's even still on the air, but some of those shows back in the day with Scott Griffin, and y'all probably never heard of him. But
oh yeah, listen to Scott, and I actually saw him recently. He'll be at Birmingham this week. He does a lot of things for Mountain Brook.
Okay, well, Scott, I know I worked at Health South when Scott Griffin was on WJOX. Now, he did JOX in the morning, 2 hours.
Right.
Or 3, and then he went, and then he went to work. Then he went to his main paying job.
Yeah.
And so I don't know how all that works, but I just want to put my 2 cents in. Man, I don't know who's the head hog of the trough at this station. That's what I call it. But it's just such a good job y'all do, and I didn't know if y'all were to come on, I don't know, maybe 8 to 11 or something like that. But that's just my 2 cents. I do appreciate what y'all do, and if y'all could comment on maybe on how programming works and how all that happens, and I'll hang up and listen.
Yeah, that's the illustrious brainchild of one Steve of Tokyo Drift.
Yeah, he's the
Steve
program
Moulton.
director.
Yeah, and
we have 3 2-hour shows.
Yeah,
and then we have Chuck Oliver, which I think is an outstanding show. And now we are under contract with ESPN, so we are contracted to carry certain things and certain programming for a certain amount of hours a day.
But that is all. I mean, that's all the brainchild of Steve.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you want us for 4, then keep suggesting it. But
I mean, but we also have some constraints that we have to abide by, and of course we have to the Paul Feinbaum show being part of that, and that's on from 2 to 5, and then from 7 to 8 every day after the drive we replay the final hour. But the Feinbaum show via SEC Network and his radio program, that's ESPN programming. So
I don't know if I could sit in here for 4 hours. I'd have to have a lot of breakfast.
I will say this, though. I did a 3-hour show before you and I got together. As you know, I was from 9 to noon before I moved to this slot, and I did that for 3. And I wasn't even sure. When Steve suggested it, I was like, wow, because we were trying to there was another train wreck show that came on ESPN radio that everybody hated. that's no longer on there anymore. Shocker, but it was a national show, and we were trying to give the folks more local programming and not make their ears bleed.
Did you pay attention to the czar yesterday?
I did not.
Okay, I didn't either, but apparently he had.
I heard the Unleashed this morning, which I knew. I knew Drew DeArmond would be mentioned at least 3 times, and so the only thing I did listen to with the Czar's extravaganza yesterday with Chad Guathny is I tuned in. I mean, I had a doctor's appointment, and then I had some phone calls I was returning and getting. I was also on getting ready to be on another radio program, so I did hear, I guess, maybe the last segment. And the start of the segment was once again part of what I said yesterday. The old beating of the dead horse thing. You have a sound bite that lives in infamy now. That is played over and over and over again as part of the Czar extravaganza. So I figured that's what it was, and I turned it down, and then I turned it back up, and he's talking about the pitch clock, and I almost ran off the road going to sleep. And then I heard the pit. He basically said that was my show prep. Was what I said yesterday. I ended up involving him, but it was mainly I was also taking a shot at others in the media. He was just sort of piggybacking off what some other people were saying, and I was just tired of hearing about it because again, it is a major story.
Yeah.
But it's something that I think is just being overplayed like unbelievably. And if you take a look at it and the circumstances, I think there's a lot of people that are twisting words and taking unnecessary shots at people. And it reminds me a lot of, like I said yesterday, of people rushing to judgment like they did with the Duke lacrosse. And we all know what happened to that idiot and the esteemed district attorney that handled. Now, I think legally this case has been handled 180 degrees better than that one.
I think a lot of people learned legally about that when that happened. All right.
Yep.
So let's get a break in because when we come back, I do want to bring up a question with Alabama basketball.
Yeah.
And it's a good one though. I mean, it's good. It's about on-court success. Let's go there when we get back, plus to your phone calls, 256-576-4977.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Still might be trying to clear a wreck westbound 565 near Madison Boulevard. That one may actually be 2 different wrecks. And we got one on Martin Luther King near Kelly Cemetery that should be about ready to clear. Through the end of the month, joined by the day at the Y. The earlier you join, the less you pay. The YMCA, Madison and Huntsville, with special military rates, free child care, and never a contract. Captain Nick in the North Parkway Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
At Bryant Bank, we believe your goals are worth chasing, and every step along the way is worth celebrating.
From your hopes for the future to the challenges that keep you up at night, we're here for you. Bryant Bankers put care into action to help you live legendary by stepping up when you need us most and doing what's right, even when no one is watching. Come experience a local bank whose people greet you by name and treat you like family. Bryant Bank, member FDIC.
Did you know that Valley Equipment Rental also specializes in day and weekend rentals to homeowners? The weekend rentals is by far the best deal that they offer. If you pick up after 2 on a Friday or anytime Saturday morning, it's not due in until Monday morning before 8 a.m. for a one-day charge. For a small fee, Valley can even haul anything they carry. Valley has extremely experienced and knowledgeable staff that can help you decide what size machine you need or what type of machine you need to get your job done like a pro. They have all the big items that the contractors need for their jobs, but they also carry the small tools that can help you with your DIY project. More importantly, Valley is locally owned and operated, which means when you have an issue, you can get someone on it right away, right here in the Valley. Heck, ask for Ross Roberts, the owner, if you like. Try calling one of the big box national outlets and ask for the owner. That's if you can even get through the automation. Buy local. Buy Valley Equipment Rental. Valley Equipment Rental has 2 locations, one on the North and South Parkway. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
I've always gotten tons of UTIs. Cranberry products never worked for me, and I was desperate for a way to be proactive. I'm Jenna Ryan, CEO and founder of Eucora. We've worked with doctors to develop effective urinary tract health products. Just mix a packet of Eucora with water and drink it when you need support, like right after intimacy. Eucora is helping over 100,000 women stay healthy. Ready to join them? Get 30% off at eucora.com/radio. That's UQORA.com/radio.
Are you looking for a quality job? Well, the University of Alabama in Huntsville is having a career fair for custodians, technicians, and maintenance and landscaping professionals to join their UAH facilities team. You can enjoy a good work-life balance on a beautiful campus, excellent benefits, training opportunities, and a respectful team atmosphere. Visit our career fair on Wednesday, March 1st from 3 to 6 p.m. in Morton Hall at 1310 Ben Graves Drive on the UAH campus, or apply at uah.edu today.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. And I got to thinking yesterday, and I was like, okay, Alabama's having a run. I mean, they're 25-4, 15-1 in conference play.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about it, they've gone through 16 games in conference play, and their winning percentage is 93%.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive. And so I was like, I started going through thinking, okay, where does this Alabama team fall into line right now? Because there's only just a few games left in the regular season.
2, yep.
Where does it fall in line with some of the other Alabama teams over the history of time? And I started looking, and you go back to 2020. I mean, Alabama was 16-2 in conference play.
Yeah,
they finished 16-2.
Yeah.
That was Nate Oates' second year?
Yeah, it was year 2.
Yeah, and they ended up finishing 5th in the AP poll overall. Yeah. And I was like, wow, then you go back in the 50s, and they had a 14-0 campaign.
That Rocket 8, yeah.
Yep. So where do we, as far as regular season goes, and if they close it out with 2 wins, it'll be 17 wins, the most in conference play ever in the school history. The 15 wins, I believe, is one shy of setting that mark. where do we put this Alabama team as far as those regular season teams in Alabama history?
Well, we have to wait and see how they finish, but it stacks up there with any of them because of the strength of the out-of-conference schedule and who they played. Now, they do have a bad loss to Oklahoma, but I do think that the Big 12 is the best league in America. I don't think there's any question about that.
Right.
And I think it's far and away the best league. I think the SEC is really good this year. I don't know about it, being and I think it's as good as any league but the Big 12. I will say that. I'm still not sold on how good the Big 10 is, even though I know Purdue has struggled down the stretch, and that may, basically tell you how strong the Big 10 is, that it's pretty good.
Right. Is the best of the SEC the Alabama, because Kentucky, I think you can put Kentucky back in that equation.
Well, yeah, you can.
The way they're playing right now.
And remember in 20 during COVID, Kentucky struggled.
Right. Is the best of the SEC, take away our teams that are weak, is the best of the SEC in your mind as good as what the best of the Big 12 has to offer?
I don't think so. I do think Alabama can play with any of the Big 12 teams, but it would certainly be challenging to beat those squads. But I think they can. I think that. But if you're talking about the SEC's top 5 or 6, I don't think so. I think it's not quite as good. We saw that in the SEC Big 12 Challenge. It was not a good. 2 days, or really just, what am I saying? It's really one day. It was not a good day on that Saturday, in particular for the SEC. And so
but you put them on a neutral floor. Do you feel different on a neutral floor?
Not really. I still think you would probably see 10 games or 10 teams matching up in 5 games against one another. I would still say probably 7-3, 6-4 Big 12. I still think the Big 12 is the better conference. I just think they've got some really good basketball over there because, think about it. I think Texas Tech is pretty good, and they've been near the bottom of that league. I still think Oklahoma is pretty good, the way they showed they could beat Alabama, but they've been struggling big time in conference play. Your beloved Iowa State Cyclones, they've been a little up and down, but I think
Iowa on
Saturday,
though, I want to say this, though. Iowa on Saturday trailed by 11 with a minute and
that
8
was
to
freaking
go.
Unreal.
And comes back and wins in overtime
and
against
then,
Michigan
and then
State.
what about your Onions in the women's game?
Caitlin Clark, I tell you what, I
saw the replay of that. I didn't see it live.
I watch as much as I can when she is on.
Yeah.
It is unfreaking real what she does.
Yeah.
Unreal.
They ran her off a little bit of a screen there, and she is a little bit off balance, but she got some onions right there.
She'll come across half court and just crank it like Steph Curry. It's.
And it was a sellout crowd in Iowa
15,
City.
5,
and I was at worst a 2 seed, in the women's tournament.
4 number 10. They've beaten 4 top 10 teams this year.
Indiana is number 2 in the country, and I think that only lost 1 or 2 games. They've got a really good team, so they've got a chance to be a 1 seed. But
when we get to tournament time, is this one of these SEC tournaments for Alabama where if they get just a win in there, does Alabama need to win the SEC tournament to validate their regular season this year?
I don't think so. They certainly. It was interesting in 2 years ago when they went 16-2. They went ahead and won it,
right?
And then they ended up getting a 2 seed. A lot of people thought they might get a 1, but they ended up a 2. I think if they finish out this regular season strong, if they were to win both games this week, if they won a game in the SEC tournament, I think they'd only need to win probably 1, maybe none.
And that says the regular season. We're not going to think anything less of the regular season if they don't win the SEC tournament.
No, I don't think so. I think the top of the SEC is pretty good. I don't think it's Big 12, but it's good, and so And I don't expect Alabama to go 1-and-out in the SEC tournament. I think they're going to.
No, I'm not thinking that they do.
I think they'll at least make the semifinals.
Yeah.
And we'll see, kind of where the cookie crumbles there. And I mean, they could take on Arkansas again in the quarterfinals. That would be quite a rematch. But I still think there's some jockeying to be done there because, as you know, Scott, they've already put out a what-if bracket with the SEC tournament. But we already went over the standings yesterday. There's a lot of pieces that can be moved around due to tiebreakers and, what happens with Auburn, what happens with Mississippi State. Because Mississippi State, we're going to talk to Robbie Falk in the second hour. That's a huge game coming up. I mean, they've got two huge games. Really, to me, I think I said this yesterday, Mississippi State does not have a margin for error. I think they've got to continue to win. I don't think like back in 2017 when Colin Sexton was in Tuscaloosa. I think Alabama when we knew that Avery. This is when I kind of started having serious doubts about him long term. But we knew that Alabama, I think, lost their last 5, and then they had to win. We knew they had to win, games in the SEC tournament because they finished 8-10. So you're thinking they have got to win some games and I want to say that year was it in St. Louis? I think it was. I think they had put it over in Missouri, but Alabama had to beat Texas A&M at the buzzer. Colin Sexton, and then they had to play the Auburn Tigers, who had a really good basketball team, but Alabama played really well that day and beat Auburn. And once Alabama got to the semi, you kind of felt like, okay, they're in. And then they got in as a 9 and beat Buzz Williams and Virginia Tech. So
that was 17 and 18 that year.
Yeah,
2017 and 18.
Yeah, that was.
And you look at it and you bring up Avery Johnson, and just to tell you how different life has been with Nate Oates versus Avery Johnson.
Right.
Avery Johnson only got Alabama ranked one time, that was number 24 in the AP poll. Nate Oates in the last 3 years has gotten Alabama ranked as high as 1, 6, and 5. That is Nate Oates in his last 3 years in the AP poll.
Yeah,
he's
Alabama
gotten
even
him 1, 6, and 5. He's gotten him as a 2 seed and a 6 seed in the NCAA tournament, and probably will have them as a number 1 seed. So in the last 3 years, Nate Oates has gotten Alabama in single-digit seed. Well, single-digit. Has gotten them in no lower than a 6 seed in the NCAA tournament. That's a stark contrast to where we were under the Avery Johnson reign.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question about it. And but of course, I will, in Avery's defense, I mean, he was taking over a program that really had no juice to it when he got there, and I mean it just wasn't good. As we know, Anthony Grant had been let go, wasn't a great fit. By the time I was covering some of those NIT games when John Brandon was the interim coach, Scott, and they won a couple, but my Lord, it was like 2 dogs and a cat. I used to call it Coleman Mausoleum back in that day, because there was none of the fans wanted to watch that style of basketball. And so Anthony Grant's doing well at Dayton now. He's a better fit there, but he just, he didn't fit. Avery gave the program a jolt of energy. He just didn't sustain it. Didn't coach very well. He wasn't a good fit for the college game, like a lot of pro guys trying to come to the NBA or NBA guys coming to college, whatever. He just doesn't translate. And the funny way to do that is he coached on both levels and didn't do very well at either one. But when you watch all these 30 for 30s and stuff, and you see coaches talk, like the one I hate, Christian Laettner. It's been coming on a couple times, and I forgot. I think his first coach, he got drafted by Minnesota. Trainwreck Timberwolves, right? Third overall. I think Sidney Lowe was his coach, and Sidney Lowe was having trouble relating to Laettner, so he calls, Coach K, and it's like, hey, this Christian Laettner, he's a little bit different. But in pro coaching, it's totally about ego management and minutes and things of that nature. Then Sidney Lowe actually for a few years was NC State's coach because he's a graduate, but it was a train wreck because he's a pro coach. because, there's not a lot of coaching that goes on in the NBA. It's mostly just, deciding who's playing what spot, getting the minutes. And, he had trouble relating to Christian Laettner. Coach K got him and was able to coach him because and Coach K also coached the Olympic team and coached pros because he had their ultimate respect. But, it's interesting the way that works. And I just think Avery, if you want somebody to do PR and you want somebody to be out in the public and shaking hands and everything, Avery
Johnson,
great.
Yep, check that box. He did. No, he did. You're right.
Such a great guy. But the X's and O's stuff wasn't great, the recruiting and the development and the grinding. And that's why Alabama had to go get Nate Oates. And he's done a remarkable job. And as you said, starting in year 2, year 1 was a total rebuild. It was a 16 and 15 thing. Year 2, I know COVID affected things, but they still went 16-2 and were a 2 seed, got to the Sweet 16. And then even in year 3, Alabama had what I would call an Avery kind of season, where everything's up and down.
But they were still 19 and 14.
Yeah, and they still were a 6 seed because they played a really tough schedule. Now they got a tough draw in the NCAA tournament. They played Mike Bray, who
that's that 9 seed. Nine or 6 seeds will do that to you. It's not easy.
Yeah, Alabama was the 6, but the 11. Some of these 11s are tough, and Notre Dame, beat Alabama, and John Quinterly getting hurt kind of really just set the tone for that whole game. And so Alabama didn't play very well, and they went home. But again, they've got a shot at a 1 seed. I think this Alabama team understands, what they've got a chance to do. And they got a chance to make some history, and it starts tomorrow.
All right, let's get a break in. We got to get a break in. When we come back, phone line's open to you, 256-576-4977. That's the number to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Plenty of sunshine this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the low and mid-70s. Maybe a little more cloud cover as we head into the overnight. Early into your Wednesday morning, temperatures only dropping into the low and mid-50s. A mostly cloudy or an overcast sky through Wednesday afternoon. Scattered showers are going to become a little more widespread through the later part of the afternoon, and then especially as we head into the evening. From there, we're just simply talking about rain through the overnight early into Thursday morning. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Picked up a wreck at Pulaski Pike in Oakwood. That one's coming in as an injury type. Sounds like they're going to try to move it off into a parking lot there. And everything else from earlier should be out of the way now. You be careful. We are dealing with a heavy traffic load. Dr. Sandman has the Somnodent, a safe, insurance-approved alternative for snoring and sleep apnea. Dr. Randall Sandlin, 350-CARE. Captain Eck in the 72 and Jeff Popeye's Skywatch Traffic Center.
The Alabama Securities Commission regulates the investment industry in Alabama and protects you from financial fraud. Anyone asking you for investment money must be licensed. Fraudsters attempt to lure investors by offering high returns and attractive products like a coronavirus vaccine or cure, rebuilding communities after a storm, or gold, oil, and gas. You are careful with your money, but fraudsters aren't. Before you invest, call our hotline at 1-800-222-1253 to verify the licensing of the person making an offer and the product. Call before giving your hard-earned money to anyone. Don't get caught in a get-rich-quick scheme. Learn more about the red flags of fraud and find free financial education material on our website at asc.alabama.gov. That's asc.alabama.gov, or call our investment hotline at 1-800-222-1253. Paid for by the Investor Protection Trust and brought to you by the Alabama Broadcasters Association and this station.
1 in 3 adults in America have pre-diabetes, but most don't know it. To let people know it can be reversed before it becomes type 2 diabetes, professional basketball player Julius Randle is doing everything in reverse.
I'm only dunking with reverse windmills. I drove the whole way to practice in reverse. I don't recommend it. This move's called the reverse shuffle. I do recommend it. And it took me months to learn how to speak in reverse, like this. Years 10 almost for diabetes type 2 with living Ben has mom my. In other words, my mom has been living with type 2 diabetes for almost 10 years. So together, we want to say to the 84 million Americans at risk, exercise and healthy eating can help reverse prediabetes. Start by taking a simple 1-minute risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Bet he can't say that in reverse.
Sports Talk 24/7, 365. Your full-time sports station.
You're doing a great job. Keep up the good work.
Is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Doesn't anyone do any work around this joint anymore?
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond with you. That is how we bring you back from break. 256-576-4977. Feel free to give us a call on the phone lines this morning. And we've, for the first 30 minutes of the show, we've gotten you updated on Auburn spring football and throughout some Alabama basketball talk there along the way. Pat from Tuscaloosa with us this morning. Good morning, Pat.
What up, Pat?
Good morning, guys. I want to talk a little bit about, and y'all don't have to respond because I know who your parent company is and what your logo is on your banner, but I want to talk about back when Bear Bryant was coaching and a 66 team that got zero respect. He had to go on the Bob Hope show and beg for votes for the national title. All that kind of stuff went on because the national media were so biased toward the University of Alabama. They all think that we still have dirt roads around Bryant-Denny Stadium and Coleman Coliseum. There's red clay, and that we have that mentality. And the fact that they are so on Miller and not letting the what facts that are out speak for themselves before they rush to judgment, because all they are is a National Enquirer type mentality. You hear what I said? National Enquirer, and all they're interested in is clickbait, and I'm so disgusted with it. And I just hope that Alabama can cut down the nets and just kind of, how do you say, spit in their face.
Well, I mean, Pat, I will say this. I mean, I don't think it's going to be interesting going forward. At least the end of the regular season, we're not going to hear from any players. We're going to hear from Nate Oates, and Nate Oates is going to speak today. But what's going to be interesting is once they go to Nashville and the SEC tournament, because you know how that's set up, Scott. Yep. You've covered it and everything. They usually make players available and coaches. It's going to be interesting to see how they handle all that.
Well, and you take it a step further when they make the NCAA tournament. And, the SEC tournament, you're going to get some SEC media. But the NCAA tournament, and especially if Alabama is the overall number one seed, the national media will converge on Birmingham for one goal and one goal only, and that is to keep bringing up everything that has happened.
Yeah.
Regardless, because like I said, it'll be the first time that the national media will specifically be in a room and have the ability to ask questions.
I know they will, but if I were Alabama, I would just tell them it's about basketball.
No, it is. You're right. But you say that, and there's always...
I know. I don't care. They can ask what they want to ask. I'm just going to tell, these guys that they're... Yeah, I mean, I just tell them Brandon Miller's here to answer basketball questions. He's not here to line the toilet at Pat 40.
Yeah. And I don't even know that I'd make Brandon Miller available to them.
Well, I mean, that's hard,
Here's the thing, Pat. It doesn't matter whether you want to make Brandon Miller available. When you get to the NCAA tournament, and I think even when you get to the SEC tournament, after 10 minutes, the locker room is open. So, especially in the NCAA tournament, you have the ability to go into the locker room, and at least that's the way it used to be when we were doing it. You had the ability to go in there.
They've got to make the players available.
Yes.
Even in Nashville at the SEC tournament.
The players come to the room. They bring the select players to the stage, and then you interview them. But once they do that, the locker room is officially open, and you can choose to go into the locker room and ask all the players questions.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that will be brought to front and center to wherever the media room is, and they'll bring those players out. But again, I think they'll probably try to control what kind of questions are asked, and they'll get a lot of no comments.
Right.
I mean, and then, you know.
Cannot Coach Oates just put down the law and say, hey, we have no comment?
They're going to say what I would imagine there's going to be a mantra of, you know, please ask about basketball. In other words, you know, this has been talked about ad nauseum.
Yes.
You've talked about it and talked about it and talked about it and talked about it. Well, I know you haven't heard from the players, but there's a reason for that, and the players are going to answer basketball questions. If you don't have a basketball question, get the hell out.
And Pat, I'll just tell you this right now, and Alabama's no different. Every school does this. Every school has procedures for this. The sports information department, the people behind the scenes, they have met with the Alabama players, and they will meet with them going into Nashville. They will meet with them going into the NCAA tournament, and they will be addressed. It'll be like going to a class. It'll be addressed. They will go over questions that will be thrown at them. They will throw them questions that they will be discussed. They will cover they will unturn every rock. They will do everything in front of the players. When the players get asked these questions, it'll be the 100th time that they have been asked these questions, but it'll just be by the national media, and they will know exactly how to handle it.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Hey,
Thanks,
y'all guys have a blessed day, and I'm sorry I threw out a hard question there.
No, I think everybody knows what's coming. Everybody knows.
I wasn't expecting y'all to agree with me that they got a National Enquirer mentality, but
some do. I mean, there's no doubt.
Thanks for the call, Pat. Not every one of them do.
No, yeah.
But there are some that have a certain agenda that when stuff like this happens, they go after it. And that's just what they do. And there's going to be people that agree with it, and there's going to be people that don't agree with it. And that's where we're at, unfortunately. All right, 256-576-4977. That's the number to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Feel free to get in. There was some high school basketball yesterday. There will be some.
It was a pretty good day for North Alabama, man. The 2A boys is a little rough. I mean, two close losses. Mars Hill and Sandrock, they both lost.
Sandrock loses 73-63 to Aliceville, and Mars Hill boys 56-63 to St. Luke's. St. Luke's is a good program.
They're
in
a
2A.
good private school program. And then I watched some of the end of the Aliceville Sandrock game, Scott. And Aliceville, very disciplined, young head coach, but they did a great job stepping to the free throw line. And they ran some four corners for a lot of the fourth quarter and held the basketball and did a great job. I mean, Aliceville was the better team, and credit Sandrock for making a hell of a run, and same way with Mars Hill. But other than that, I thought it was almost a perfect day for North Alabama.
Covenant Christian 47-26 winners over Florala, and Oakwood Academy
history there,
a 52-44 win over Otagoville.
Yeah.
So we get Oakwood Academy and Covenant Christian for the 1A boys title.
Yeah, and that's one blue map coming back to North Alabama when Covenant is the defending 1A champion, and this is history for Oakwood. They've never been this far before, and it's awesome to see, man.
Well, how cool would that be if they get to hold the state blue map up and be like, look, last year we couldn't be here.
Yeah.
This year we're going to win the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean,
we're just going to win
really
it all.
Cool, man. I mean, and at the start of the year, a lot of the people had Oakwood number one, so they're very good, very athletic, and they beat an athletic Otagoville team yesterday. You just mentioned that, and so it was great. And then it was good to see the Mars Hill ladies. They were very, very impressive, and so was Marion County. So technically, that's another battle of North Alabama for the 2A girls as well.
And then today in 3A girls, you get Clements kicking it off at 9 a.m. and then the Plainview boys at 10:30 or 1:30.
Yeah,
that'll be your 3A games. In 4A, the Priceville girls will play at 3 p.m.
Trying to make some history.
The New Hope girls will play at 6 p.m.
We're hoping for Priceville versus New Hope, brother.
And then Westminster Christian will play at 4:30. Those are your local teams today playing in Birmingham.
Absolutely.
It's the Westminster boys at 4:30.
So. Got to apologize. Got to pinch hit for Moulton. You guys got some business to take care of tonight, so I'll be over at the Furniture Factory. Won't be able to watch in person Westminster, but certainly going to be watching and monitoring that game and seeing if my prediction of the Westminster Wildcats and the Jacksonville Golden Eagles reaching
Is that
the
what
state
we want
finals.
there?
That-
Is that
that's what I
Jacksonville?
predicted. I think that's the two best teams,
Okay,
man.
okay.
I mean, and I will say this though: Prattville Christian in the ladies. This is 4A ladies.
Yeah.
They moved up from 3A. They're the defending 3A champion. That game with New Hope, that's going to be a high-level girls game right there.
All right, Priceville and UMS. Right, Priceville's had a lot of success over the past few years in girls basketball.
they
Hard
really
to
have.
believe that this is their first trip.
Yeah. I mean,
to Legacy.
And that
Arena.
was, man, I'm telling you what, we talked about it. That was a really tough pod over there at the Northwest Regional, man. I mean, Priceville, they had to get through two really tough matchups. They had to beat a really good JP2 team coached by Kyle Overstreet, and then they had to beat Jana Killen and
that's never easy.
Yeah, and Dessler
and Chloe Siegel
after Dessler beat number 1 Good Hope. So that was how good the 4A girls was over in Hansville.
Let's get a break in. When we come back, going to wrap up hour 1. How about some NFL draft conversation?
Yeah, I heard Mel, my guy Mel, love Mel, but I think he just released his latest mock draft.
Yeah, well, we got some other conversations. You may not like it. You may like it. I don't know. It's not Czar-esque, but it's good.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Sounds like they've moved that injury wreck at Pulaski Pike and Oakwood into a parking lot. That's their only working accident. Everything else from earlier appears to have been cleared out of the way. Traffic level heavy. You be careful on your trip in this morning. Popeye's famous chicken sandwich is only $4.99. Crispy tender chicken on a delicious toasted brioche bun. Love that chicken from Popeye's. University in Jordan, 72 in Jeff and North Parkway. Captain Eck in the Popeye's Skywatch Traffic Center.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
Find your rhythm and feed your rhythm at Rhythm on Monroe in downtown Huntsville. Located inside the VBC, Rhythm features crafted cocktails, local and seasonal beers, specialty wines, and seasonal cuisine, like the fresh-baked crab dip with kettle chips, fresh spiral lasagna with basil marinara, Black Angus char-grilled filet with truffle butter, or one of Chef Becky Vibbard's seasonal desserts like the warm peach cobbler with vanilla bean ice cream. Serving dinner daily or weekend brunch. View the menu and make reservations at rhythmonmonroe.com.
Hello, listeners. My name is Jonathan Dunwoody, and I own Minuteman Press. We are a full-service print shop that is locally owned and operated. I have personally been handling direct mail for over 17 years and have a great relationship with the USPS. We are the only print shop in the area that is listed as a print provider on their website and the only printing franchise that can use their logo as our partner on marketing materials. We can help from conception to design, print, and delivery to the post office. And with our easy, secure online payment option, you don't even need to leave your office. Minuteman Press, we're not just putting ink on paper, we're building relationships.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, Check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, "If you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself."
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm in the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey Wes, our company Fleming Roofing and Restoration specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
Well, you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10 plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey Wes, we show up.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball at 97.7 ESPN The Zone. And starting today, the NFL Combine gets underway in Indianapolis. And it'll be going on, and it's going to be a spot where everyone's going to scrutinize and pick apart every draft pick available. And a lot of eyes will be on the quarterbacks. A lot of eyes are going to be on Bryce Young. He is not going to throw at the Combine, that we know, but he will go through the measurables, and he will go through the interview process. Now, Todd McShaw, a lot of people picking apart his height. Daniel Jeremiah weighing in.
I think he ended up, I heard yesterday, just a shade under 5'11".
Yeah, so here is, listen to this.
He's got great instincts too. Like the guy he just knows how to play. He feels everything. You know, again, the measurables will get picked apart. You know that. I mean, eyeball him. He doesn't look the part, but most importantly, because of the instincts in the field, he doesn't get hit a lot. He doesn't put himself in harm's way. So that there's going to be a roll of the dice because of that. You know, there's no getting around the fact that he's a smaller frame guy. But I actually had more durability concerns about Tua coming out than Bryce because he didn't feel it quite as much. He took a lot more hits than Bryce did. So yeah, the size will be picked apart, but he is I would be surprised if he's not the number one overall pick right now.
No, I don't disagree with any of that. I mean, I know because of the Tua angle being brought up, people might have thought I'd disagree. I don't disagree. I mean, the one thing I said when Tua came out, and it's still reared its head in the pros, is his durability. I mean, and that you have to address it. I mean, it's one of those things you got to be available, man. And for whatever reason, Tua has been fragile and at times held on to the ball too long and taken unnecessary hits. It's interesting. Bryce, his really he got through the 2021 season, and I know he got beat up some, but he never missed a start, even though he got sacked 47 times, something ridiculous.
Yes.
So he was durable that year, and then interestingly, last year he gets hurt because he tried to extend a play and then just landed funny. But yet he only missed one game and showed a lot of toughness coming back. He played against Tennessee, not 100%. Still wasn't 100% against LSU, but he showed a lot of toughness, I thought. And I agree with Jeremiah there that without a doubt, he does protect himself. And he's even more mobile than Tua. And even though Tua, his frame looks sturdier than Bryce, he just doesn't. You've seen his ankles. You see, the concussions when he takes hits. Now, part of that is the Miami Dolphins. Hello. Draft some offensive linemen, you pinheads. It's called surround the quarterback and protect the QB. It's not, osmosis or something here. You can't just, he's miraculously going to make 5 guys miss and not take hits. Andrew Luck retired at 29. I double-checked it yesterday because he got the hell beat out of him because the Colts didn't build the offensive line until after he was about to retire. Or, they had basically put the pieces in place, but he got tired of being hammered. And Andrew Luck was a different cat, too. I mean, this is a dude who was a genius. I don't really think football, he really liked football, but he didn't love it. Right. And so he decided not to play it. But I'm just saying, you've got to surround the QB with an offensive line. And that's one reason why now I do think Indy has a good one. They just don't have a good quarterback. And I think if these trades go through, like I think Mel Kiper, I haven't read it, Scott. I
haven't looked at it either.
Yeah, they said he had 4 trades.
Right.
So, so I think quarterbacks were heavily involved in that. But I do think Bryce going number 1, if Indy traded up, for example, I think that would be a good fit.
Tim Hasselbeck also weighed in on the Bryce Young size.
Right.
I think that's one of the reasons why I would most certainly feel comfortable, staying put with Fields in terms of just his size. This is a big man's game. And I get that the quarterback is being protected more in today's football than it ever has been. But okay, this is the elite of the elite, and this is the type of stuff that's going to come up every single year. If you're going to draft somebody at the very top of the draft, you want to be able to check as many boxes as you can. And one of the easiest boxes to check is, does he check out size-wise? And he won't. Like, there will be a legitimate concern size-wise. Now, it doesn't mean he shouldn't go in the first round. Doesn't mean he's not a remarkable, electrifying player, because he is. But I do think it's something that you have to be worried about.
Was Bryce hurt more than Will Levis?
No.
Okay. Well, Will Levis didn't have as good an offensive line here, at least this year. Now, he had a better one as a junior, his first year starting at Kentucky, because that was like a Joe Moore finalist type offensive line. And
right.
He lost his O-line coach, and the O-line wasn't as good. But again, but I will say this. Did Bryce Young have a great offensive line his junior year at Alabama?
No.
But did he survive? And how tall is Drew Brees?
That is a good question.
Yeah, under 6 feet. Now, I understand Drew wasn't a first-round pick because people are idiots, and that should get people fired. But, I think he was like the first pick of the second round or
Drew
something.
Brees is 6 foot.
He's not 6 feet. That's a lie. I don't believe that. I think he's like 5'11". But
Kyler Murray's 5'10". Russell Wilson 5'11".
Well,
that's what they listed as.
Well, they always lie. Okay, so that means Kyler's 5'8".
So is Bryce? Are we lying about Bryce's height?
Well, I was told that he measured 5'11".
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe. I always thought he was more like 5'10". But I really don't care. And if you don't draft him number 1, fire yourself. Because I'm sorry, he's the best player. And Hendon Hooker's a lot better than they're giving him credit for, but he's hurt, so they can live on that crutch. And he's a little bit older, so he doesn't have as much upside. But we know what upside does. Upside drafts you Zach Wilson.
There you go. Was that the loser sign? Hour 1 in the books. Oh, Coach John Schulman. We're going to ask him, did he snooker us? Did he snooker us last week? We're going to ask him coming up next. John Schulman joins the show.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Check out VSiN's catalog of original podcasts, daily and weekly programming to keep you in the know when you're on the go. only at VSIN.com. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
College basketball conference tournaments just about set to get underway. Taking a look at the futures odds for the 2023 National Championship, the Houston Cougars are the current favorite. Houston a plus 650 bet. Kansas a plus $800 bet. The Jayhawks battling for the top spot in the Big 12. The Alabama Crimson Tide a plus $1,000 bet. Purdue and UCLA both at plus 1,200. UCLA the leader in the Pac-12. Purdue on top of the Big Ten. Top 25 hoops tonight. Number 6, Marquette visits Butler. The Golden Eagles by 8.5.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
And welcome back to Hour 2 of Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Coming up tonight, 7 o'clock inside Spraggins Hall, the UAH Chargers, Mississippi College. It's the quarterfinals of the Gulf South Conference Tournament. UAH earning the right to be at home tonight. And, of course, today's interview being brought to you by SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center. Give them a call today, 256-881-5151, to experience the SportsMed difference. SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, dedicated to providing care that improves lives. And I was kind of joking when we went to break in hour number 1, but I kind of was not joking as well. I think we got snookered. I think we did. I love saying that word, by the way. I think we did.
Gamesmanship is what I call it.
I think we got played a little bit with Coach Shulman the last time.
Well, we were talking about C.J. Williamson, and he went through senior day ceremonies. What a great impact he's had since coming over from Faulkner, Gunnersville Wildcat, and great leader for this team. But we did not see him in action in the last week of the regular season as the UAH Chargers yet again are regular season champions in the Gulf South Conference, trying to pull off the double and win another Gulf South Conference tournament. But they've got a difficult matchup on Super Tuesday as, they've had two really interesting matchups with Mississippi College. We know what happened back in December. They did not play well in that game. They bounce back. They get a hard-fought, difficult win by 5 in the rematch in February. And now, as March is just about upon us, we're going to have a third chapter to this. And John Shulman is going to talk about that and a Gulf South Conference regular season championship. And he's been in this business a long time in college coaching. And, Coach, when you cut down a net, it's always special.
There is nothing better. There's really just that's what you do it for. And, I know we do it for other reasons also, but just climbing up on that ladder and cutting down the nets and seeing those kids with joy in their eyes, some of them with tears, and it's a pretty special moment, and especially with a 24 game conference schedule. That I wasn't a big fan of that. I think it's too many games. I said at the beginning of the year, whoever wins it, you'll have a true champion. They'll be exhausted, but it'll be a true champion. And I think you're right. I think we are a true champion, but I think we are a little fatigued. It was a long road to get to that point. And guys, you all are so popular that I know everybody in the league listens to your radio show, so I do have to say a few things about it. No, listen, I'm just going to be honest. The plan was to play CJ, and then after talks with CJ and where his foot was, and it was just better right now to just keep him on the sideline and keep improving. He had really a bad injury, and 95% of those injuries are surgically repaired, and his just wasn't. He probably came back a little too soon. But we also got to think about CJ, not just right here at this moment, but also in 3 months when he's trying to make a professional team and going to Europe and playing professionally. So a lot of things play into that. I thought he really did a good job. We talked on Saturday before the game. I said, we got two ideas. We'll tip it to you, and right at the 8-second mark of the 10 set, we'll slip Max to the basket, throw it to him, and try to steal 2 points from Valdosta. I don't think that was a great idea. And then he was like, Coach, I don't want to have a turnover on me. And I went, listen, right before they blow the whistle, throw it to Chaney, and then he'll get the turnover back there, and then we'll laugh at Chaney. But it was a great moment for CJ, and we talked as a team. We don't put on that championship ring last year without CJ Williamson, and just, heartbroken for him and kind of the year he had. But he'll recover. He's a tough kid. He's going to get his degree, and he'll be just fine. But what an amazing job he's doing on the sideline, cheering and giving our guys confidence and really helping coach our team.
Yeah, that he is. And Saturday's game was one of those tough games, Coach, because not only were you guys playing for the right to be a regular season champ, the number 1 seed, you also have to deal with the emotions of senior day and everything that goes with that. And then, by the way, you got to play the game as well. Those are tough things, and lots of times people forget that these are still 19, 20-year-old kids, and emotions sometimes take a little bit to subside.
We were a disaster on Saturday. I'm telling you. I mean, I really wanted it. I tell you, I really wanted it for a team, but listen, Hunter Vick and Tanner Schulman came to UAH to get a ring. And that's what you do. You go to UAH to get a ring, and I really wanted it badly for those two kids, and so I'm uptight. And then here comes senior day, and Hansford's a disaster, and here comes Max and CJ, and looking at Miss Williamson just broke my heart. And Hunter Vick has had a weird senior year here because of injuries, and you're trying to figure this out. And by the way, you got a bunch of running, jumping athletes who can make shots over there at Valdosta, and you got to win the game. And you're going, whoa, there is way too many things for going on in my head. With my ADD, I was thinking about Big Cheese getting a burger in Glencoe. I'm going, come on, man, just stay focused at the task at hand. But that's life, and sometimes life's not simple, and you got to battle through some adversity, and you got to battle through some other things. And we battled through it. We were not locked in we weren't locked in defensively at all, but we scored enough points. Listen, the last 9 games, we are averaging over 80 points a game and giving up, I think, 64 points a game maybe, and something like that. So we've been locked in. We just weren't real locked in on both sides of the ball on Saturday, but we had a good day on Sunday. We played our annual wiffle ball game, and now I know why these kids weren't recruited to baseball. And then we watched some film, and then we had a really good day yesterday, and now we better be happy and hugging because we got a really good basketball team coming in here tonight with Mississippi College. Barely beat us down at their place. I was nervous to the final horn, and we really, just be honest, we did not score a basket the last 8 minutes of the game here. They have that ability to really guard you. So it's going to be a tough night tonight.
Yeah, and I know they've got a really good post player. But speaking of your post player, and he's had to take on an even bigger load with CJ being sidelined. But talk about the offensive maturity of Chaney Johnson. Just taking the time to listen to parts of the game when I could, Coach. I was in Tuscaloosa covering the Tide, but I was also following UAH. It just seems like CJ has that Chaney has come a long way in being able to play and stay on the floor, not get in foul trouble, body controlled, and decision-making offensively.
Well, I agree. Well, I also agree that we're much better off with you being in Tuscaloosa. All right, during our game.
Yeah, I know. I was a red herring curse there. Yeah.
All right, and so Chaney is matured. He has grown up. His decision-making, since we lost CJ, we had to kind of tweak and change our offense, and Chaney's been a big part of that. And last year we lived and died just throwing that ball inside to him all the time, and now we've had to change a little bit. And we're running really good offense, but, he's still the guy that we go to at the end of the shot clock. He's still the guy that we go to at the end of the game, and he's got to produce for us. And that's an awful lot to ask for a sophomore. But he wants that responsibility. He takes that serious, and he's worked hard on it. These games, I talked to our guys, these games are not won February the 28th in March. These games right now are won in August. What'd you do in August? Did you work? Are you prepared for this moment? Or are you not prepared? Because if you're just now getting ready for this, you have no shot at being successful. We got to rebound the ball tonight. Cheney's got to rebound the ball. Well, we've been boxing out since August. We got to build that wall tonight because they do an unbelievable job getting to the basket. We've been building that wall since August. And so, like you're talking about Cheney. Cheney has been training nonstop for this moment. He's ready for the moment. Whether we have success or not, I don't know. I'll let you know after the game. But we are ready for the moment, and we're prepared for this basketball game.
When you see Luke Burnett shoot the three, what goes through your mind?
Better go in. No, he once again, now Luke Burnett came here as a freshman, and the first Friday night that he was on campus, we're leaving the office. Ant was leaving the office about 7 o'clock, and it was dark in there, and he heard a ball bounce. He looked down there. He was like, "Who's that?" And he was like, "It's Luke." I said, "Luke, why are you shooting in the dark?" He said, "I don't know where the light switch is." And so that's Luke. Luke is low to no maintenance whatsoever and just shoots threes. And he's gotten better. He's gotten tougher. And I say that is that everybody thinks toughness in sports is this bravado, like real tough guy, and you got to beat people up and you got to box them out hard. Listen, toughness is also taking a great shot and maybe passing up a bad one to give it to the next guy. And Luke has showed toughness and gotten tougher with his decision making. Remember at MC, he shot a running left-handed hook shot. That's soft, and tough is maybe passing one up, knowing that you're going to get it back to get a great one. But his second half the other night, when we were kind of funky offensively, Max couldn't make a shot, and Cheney was struggling a little bit. Luke's always there, and he is quietly always there. We don't talk about Luke a lot, but Luke is always there. I think he's made, I don't know, he may be the leading three-point maker in the country right now. But I don't know. I'm not an analytical guy, as y'all can tell. I'm not a stat guy, as y'all can tell. I coach a kind of feel. But I know he's made a lot of them, and I know we really appreciate him being here.
And then, Coach, talk about the matchup. You just mentioned it with Mississippi College. I know they've got Galen Smith, and I think you've told us in the past you think he's as good as any big in the league.
Well, he really knows how to play. In the world that we live in right now, there's no bigs anymore. And so if you can find a big that really knows how to play, everybody's like, what? What do you do with that guy? You mean they're throwing it inside? They're not just chucking threes? And they play a little old school. They're knock on wood. They're just be honest. They're last in the league in 3-point field goals made, but they're playing in the GSC tournament. So that means they're doing something right. What they really do is they really guard you. They try to beat you up. They're tough. Their coach is tough. They're well coached. They're mean, tough, athletic guys who throw that thing inside and drive that thing inside. And that's a great recipe to having success in March. You don't have to rely on three-pointers going in that basket because they don't go in as often in March as they do in November. It's just how it is. And so, you talk about Galen Smith, you forgot they've got a kid named Thompson who barely, what do you have, like 12 on us down there? Scott, what, 12, 13? Oh, my fault, 47.
Yeah, it was close.
47 on us down there. And is one of the best players in our league and just a really special talent. And so we've got to deal. And, at the point, a kid named Miles Miller, who's a transfer from Lipscomb, who's one of the best, he's probably got a couple triple-doubles this year. And they're really, 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 really talented. And they're really good. But everybody's good. And if you want to do something special in February and March, it ain't going to be easy. It's never given to you. You always take the tough route. we really wanted Lee Valdosta to beat West Alabama on Thursday night so we could kind of coast in. It doesn't work that way. There's no coasting. If you want to win it, you got to go. You got to fight the demons, and you got to go through tough people. And sometimes it works out, and sometimes it doesn't work out. But we're awfully excited to have this opportunity tonight at 7 o'clock at Spraggins, and we need a lot of people there.
This team has improved, though. Your team has improved every step of the way. How much, though, have you improved from the second time, not the first time, but the second time that you played Mississippi College? I mean, it feels still a little bit different.
God, you are getting so much smarter, Scott. That's amazing. Because we talked about that yesterday. And I said, listen, we're a different team now than we were when we played MC a couple weeks ago. We're a completely different team. The key is if you stay the same, it's over. You are today or yesterday at practice, we were either going to get better yesterday or we're going to get worse. Teams don't ever stay the same. So we are a much better basketball team today than we were playing them. We didn't score a bucket. But I will tell you this, we scored 21 points in the last 11 minutes of that game. So you scored 21 points really in the last 10 minutes of that game. You're on track to score 84 points last time I checked, Drew. All right, 4 times 21 is 84, correct?
Correct.
And so we maybe didn't score a whole lot of field goals at the end, but we were able to get to the foul line. So I don't care where the points come from. I'm an old school guy, Bobby Knight. If you make more free throws than your opponent's attempt, you got to have a shot to win a basketball game. So that's the one analytics I do play by. And so we are different now than we were when we played them, and we're playing better, and we got a lot of confidence, and we're playing loose, and it's a different type game, good or bad, than we played last year at this time. We knew if we didn't win this game last year, we were out, and there was no NCAA tournament. I would say that we're in good shape with the NCAA tournament, but we've been talking about repeating from August, the first meeting we had in August. The hardest thing in sports is to repeat.
That's right.
And it's just human nature. So we've been battling human nature. Now, we just won the regular season championship. We did not win that last year, but we did win the tournament. There hasn't been anybody to defend their title since 2010. So we've been talking about this. Like I said, we're ready for the moment. We're excited for the moment, but it's a very difficult challenge tonight and to ever win a tournament. It's a difficult challenge to win a tournament game. It's a difficult challenge to get to a championship game. We've been there 3 years in a row, and they went the year before I got here. So UAH has been to a championship game 4 years in a row, and we want to make it 5. And to do that, you got to take care of your business tonight.
You do, and then again, it's you earned it. But these seniors get one more chance to play in the stable. You need a big crowd, need a lot of enthusiasm and electricity, and of course, Steve Moulton and Scott Tyson will be on the call. Coach, we wish you all the luck in the world against Mississippi College, and look forward to you advancing, hopefully, to the Hannah Center to play in the GSC semifinals and finals. But good luck tonight, Coach.
I appreciate it. And y'all, we always appreciate you guys, and this whole community appreciates you. Thank you for doing what you do, and hopefully, Scott, we'll see you tonight, and hopefully, Drew, we won't. Y'all be good.
Yes, you will see me tonight.
No doubt. And I won't be eating at the Big Chief. I'll be eating at the Furniture Factory.
You had to go Big Chief. I want a burger.
I know.
And it's just too far to drive just to go get a burger.
Yeah, and I don't think you can grub south it.
No. 12. Yeah, hey, guess what, hon? I grubbed South the burger for $12, and it cost me $100.
Yeah,
that goes over well.
Yeah.
I
or get Kate Smith to just do a team order.
There we go.
Yeah.
But if Tokyo drove, we could get.
At least 30 minutes. You would at least shave 30 minutes off of it. But you better hang on to your ass, Fred.
Right. We gotta get a break in. When we come back, phone lines open to you, other discussions as well. 256-576-4977.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a new wreck coming out of Morgan County. This one is 36 in Gum Springs. I think it's going to be a no injury. Had an injury type, Pulaski Pike and Oakwood. They've moved it off into a parking lot. Officers, construction workers, and first responders put their lives on the line every time they step on the roadway. Why not make it safer for them? Slow down or move over. It's the law. Captain Nick in the 72 and Jeff Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
The college basketball regular season is winding down, and the football specials at Humphrey's Bar and Grill are now going to extend into basketball season with football specials during every Auburn and Alabama basketball games. Don't miss Humphrey's game day specials from $2.75 Miller Lite, Yingling, Coors Light pints, $3.50 Yellowhammer Gold pints. Anytime Auburn or Alabama is on the screen. Humphrey's, always a party, never a cover. Located online at humphreysdowntown.com.
Valley Equipment Rental has grown by leaps and bounds over the past year and is adding more and more equipment to their already impressive fleet. Valley is a locally owned family equipment rental business serving the entire Tennessee Valley. They concentrate on the local contractors, building repeat business and specializing in long-term rentals for their local contractors. The benefit of long-term rental is that they stay on top of their assets. If something you own goes down in the field, you have to stop and fix it before you can finish the job. With Valley Equipment Rental, they will fix it on site or bring you another machine while that one's being fixed. More importantly, Valley is locally owned and operated, which means when you have an issue, you can get someone on it right away, right here in the Valley. Heck, ask for Ross Roberts, the owner, if you like. Try calling one of the big box national outlets and asking for the owner. That's if you can even get through the automation. Buy local. Buy Valley Equipment Rental. Valley Equipment Rental has 2 locations, one on the North and South Parkway. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
March means basketball, and nothing goes better with basketball than Bad Daddy's Burgers. And this Friday with our zone deal, you can get $50 worth of Bad Daddy's Burger Bar goodness for half price, just $25. Bad Daddy's is the place for chef-inspired burgers, giant chopped salads, and craft beer. Enjoy the madness with some half-priced badness. Get your Bad Daddy's half-price zone deal this Friday online at 977ESPN.com.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Over 60 years ago, our founding father taught us the value of being dedicated to long-term customer satisfaction in every transaction we do, sales, parts, and service. Bobby White here for Woody Anderson Ford, thanking you for your loyalty for over 60 years, and we promise to keep working hard to earn your business every day. Just so happens that for 46 of those 60 years, our F-150 has been the best-selling truck in America. And now is a great time to drive one. We've got over 100 F-150s to choose from, and financing as low as 2.9% for up to 5 years on 2022 F-150s. With your good credit through Ford Motor Credit, offer ends February 28th. Or if a nearly new Ford fits you better, trade in and trade up to a Ford Gold Certified or Blue Certified pre-owned car, truck, SUV, or crossover. Great warranties, 24-hour roadside assistance, and you'll take them home with a full tank of gas and a fresh oil change. Woody Anderson Ford celebrating over 60 years of service to Huntsville, and we look forward to serving you.
At Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, people call the award-winning burgers totally insane, which is a compliment because Bad Daddy's Burgers are just that, chef-inspired expressions of pure burger amazingness built with premium Angus beef. They're bold and they're bad. Pair one with one of their signature cocktails or assortment of local craft brews. Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, 2317 Memorial Parkway. Check out our menu and even order online at BadDaddy'sBurgerBar.com.
All right, well, back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond with you on a, Tuesday morning. Yeah. We were talking Monday, and I lost track of the day. It's Tuesday morning, actually, here. Yes.
Super Tuesday for UAH.
It is Super Tuesday.
Get out there, everybody.
Yeah,
I'll be at the
7 o'clock.
Furniture Factory listening, but everybody be out there.
Now, don't forget the Bill Penny general admission seats that were good all year do not count for tonight.
It doesn't count.
No,
Okay.
you cannot. You actually will have to pay to get into the UAH basketball games tonight.
It's because it's postseason.
It's only like
right?
$10.
It's because it's postseason.
It's postseason, yeah. This is conference play,
so
not
there's
regular.
there's no really season ticket thing. It's just everybody paying.
Just come on in. Students are free, though, I think, with the ID. So we need all the students there. Hey, do you know what? The other day, though, Coach Shulman lended some helping hand to the baseball team.
NIL money.
So, yes, there we go. That's a good way to put it. To the baseball team and on Thursday night. So they were there in fine form. If you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah, man.
They were there in some fine forms.
May have got some minis in there, too.
They were good. Hey, I saw this yesterday, and this was a shock to me.
Yeah.
Glenn Schumann, he interviewed with the Philadelphia Eagles for the defensive coordinator position. He's staying at Georgia, though.
Shocked.
Yeah.
Shocked.
But are you shocked that he even took an interview with the Philadelphia Eagles?
I mean, it's called leverage, so he's probably going to get a raise, man. But I expected him to stay at Georgia, just like I knew he wasn't coming to Alabama. So it is what it is. And, I figured Glenn Schumann was going to stay, and he's staying put. So that's good for Kirby and the Dogs. They've had really a not much turnover at all, except for losing Todd Monken, and really they just promoted from within for that with Mike Bobo.
Is that going to hurt them?
An old face in a new place.
Do you think is that going to hurt Georgia?
I don't think so. I mean, they've got a great roster.
Yeah.
I mean, luckily, Mike Bobo did actually work at South Kakalaki for Will Muschamp, and they both got canned. But again, Will is not the head coach now. You got a bunch of 5 stars. You got a bunch of great talent, and his son Drew Bobo is an offensive lineman on the Dogs, and it was a natural fit for I think Kirby Smart, and I think they would have looked at Tommy Rees, but he was already at Alabama. But the biggest thing is Kirby's a defensive guy. We'll see, and there's been some rumors out there about Will Muschamp, but again, it's huge keeping Glenn Schumann, no question about it. I heard. And remember how I talked about? Pardon me, I didn't.
Yeah,
I just
no,
want to
go
finish this thought, but I don't think the Eagles have made their defensive coordinator hire, and I heard Jim Leonard interviewed, and then we talked about him being a candidate at Alabama, which didn't come to fruition.
You bring up the rosters for Georgia. 24/7 Sports has said that Alabama and Georgia both 1 and 2, Alabama 1, Georgia 2, have the most lethal rosters going into the fall. Now, transfer portal still could affect some of that, but Alabama and Georgia, followed by Ohio State, LSU at number 3, Texas at number 5, Texas A&M at number 5, Clemson at number 7, Oklahoma 8, Oregon 9, Notre Dame 10. The most lethal rosters going into a new year of college football.
Did you just say that Texas A&M had a lethal roster?
That is according to yes. I am delivering a message to you that 24/7 Sports says Texas A&M has the 5th most lethal roster going into the new college football season, tied with Texas.
I mean, they do have a lot of talent that they've recruited, but I mean, it's like giving yourself castor oil when you have to watch it. I mean, good Lord.
It's got to be coached up. That's why Bobby Petrino's there now. It's going to get coached up. The offense is going to get modernized. No excuses.
So 2001?
Just saying.
Not 1997, but 2001?
I'm just saying, Bobby.
Wow.
Jimbo Fisher has answered he answered the criticism. He hired an offensive coordinator that has modernized an offense.
Now I'm just wondering if it's going to end up like Buddy Ryan and Kevin Gilbride, where they actually throw punches at each other. Remember that?
Yes,
that was awesome.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Bobby Petrino and Jimbo Fisher. I mean, is there a more oil and is that an oil vinegar matchup? I mean, is that an oil vinegar combination?
I mean, no question about it to me.
All right. I know we got Brandon, but we're also okay. Brandon, we got to do it real fast. But all right,
what's up, Brandon? What you got?
I was just calling in to find out if we need to get the new UFC slap contest people to set up a table for you and Nazar. Yeah. That way y'all can hammer this thing out.
Do you know the UFC? Have you seen the slap contest, Drew?
Oh, I saw it.
Okay, good.
It looked like somebody, bad their jaw, just I don't know, dislocated or something.
Yeah.
I mean, Lord, I saw Fred jumping off some cliff because I could see his ass. Saw that one too.
Well, we do have a meeting today at 10 o'clock.
Right.
So it's the first staff meeting we've had in a month, but it's the first staff meeting since yesterday.
Yeah, I just got a picture of an old Game Boy from I don't know how much you could get for this, Brandon. It looks like it's in pretty good shape. You could probably sell it as a little bit of an antique, like from one of these collectors, man. Everything's in bubble wrap.
Oh, I cleaned my mother-in-law's house out
right
probably over a course of about 7 days.
Did you?
And I've gone through and found stuff, and I'm like, hey, here's a 1997 Nokia brick phone. I would pick stuff up, and it would just take me back to being a small child. And then I found this Game Boy that actually still works with all the games in it in the case, and found stuff that, I mean, stuff people's never seen probably. She probably hadn't seen any of this stuff 40 years.
I mean, you could. I'm serious. You could probably get some money for a Game Boy. There's some of these collectors out here.
Oh yeah.
I mean, hey, Bandy, you might know about that, man. You're the video game guy. You do a segment every day on the show. So on the Afternoon Blitz, how much is an original Game Boy? Did you get the picture?
I got the picture. I don't know how much it's worth though, just off the top of my head. I mean, I know useless video game trivia, knowledge, and all that.
Right.
I'm not like the.
But that's the original Game Boy, though. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and it's in another box. It was my wife's. In another box, she's got this big glass thing that multiplies the screen.
Yeah.
Like a magnifying glass.
Oh, yeah.
But her games suck, though. She's got Pocahontas, The Little Mermaid. And
yeah, it looks like a bunch of Disney stuff, yeah.
Well, surprisingly, Amazon's selling them anywhere from $99 to $160.
Well, I mean, it's got some
value.
That's
pretty cheap. I mean you would think about it. I mean...
it's not $1,000.
Hey, Brandon, I hate to do it to you, bud, but we are really up against a break.
We'll see. The Czar and I, maybe they could sponsor it. Maybe Bassmaster Radio could sponsor it. Slap each other with a fish or something. I don't know.
We got to get a break. Do you want to get slapped by a fish?
No, I don't want to get slapped by a fish. I barely fish. I don't know. Just like he doesn't know anything about basketball, I don't know anything about fishing. He's the fishing expert. I couldn't tell you one professional angle. I don't know. That's his department.
You getting slapped by a fish?
I don't know. I don't know anything about it.
Getting a bass upside the ass.
Good Lord.
Gotta get a break. All right. I'm going to bring in a guest next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Plenty of sunshine this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the low and mid-70s. Maybe a little more cloud cover as we head into the overnight. Early into your Wednesday morning, temperatures only dropping into the low and mid-50s. A mostly cloudy or an overcast sky through Wednesday afternoon. Scattered showers are going to become a little more widespread through the later part of the afternoon, and then especially as we head into the evening. From there, we're just simply talking about rain through the overnight, early into Thursday morning. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Got a wreck reported on 565 eastbound. They're reporting it at mile marker 7. That's going to put it between County Line Road and the Glen Hearn exit. It looks like eastbound traffic is pretty well stopped there. No report of injury, and they are reporting that as a single-car accident. Still may be trying to clear one in Morgan County, 36 in Gum Springs. Pulaski Pike and Oakwood went to a parking lot. Snelling has a contract accounting position. It's a 2 or 3 month assignment. It needs a degree and experience. Huntsville.snelling.com. Captain Nick in the North Parkway Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
What does it mean to be a part of the Southeastern Conference? That you scheduled your wedding and even your child's birth around your school's game? Of course. But it means more than that. It means you're home to hundreds of Fulbright, Truman, Goldwater, and Rhodes Scholars. It means starting out as the birthplace of American public higher education, and now leading the way in unmanned spacecraft. This is the SEC, and here it just means more. What does it mean to be a part of the Southeastern Conference? That there's an honest-to-goodness chandelier in your tailgate tent? Perhaps, but it means more than that. It means pioneering medical solutions to predict new flu viruses. It means leading globally diverse teams to eliminate starvation in developing countries. And it means being home to one of the nation's top cybersecurity programs. This is the SEC. And here, it just means more.
Is it lonely at the top?
Deja vu.
Not at all.
Come on, we're an ace. Everybody knows it.
Thank you for listening to 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
It entertains me, and I enjoy listening on the way home.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball. Joe Lunardi's bracketology just dropped about 30 minutes ago.
Did it?
Yeah, and Mississippi State, the focus of our conversation now, is in the last four in category.
Here we go.
According to Joe Lunardi. We'll go over the rest of it in our tomorrow's headlines, but Mississippi State in the last four in right now.
Yeah, they are. And we're speaking to Mississippi State. It's been a while since we caught up with our next guest, but he does a great job covering the Mississippi State beat for 24/7 Sports and the Starkville Daily. He also co-hosts a daily podcast, Thunder and Lightning. And Thunder and Lightning, we know that's Rafael Palmeiro, Will Clark. It's one of the better 30 for 30s you can see. If you ever want to look and delve into the history of Mississippi State baseball. But we're delving into right now Chris Jans in his first year at the helm of Mississippi State Hoops. They have played exceedingly well the second half of the conference schedule. They gave Alabama one of their two biggest scares at home within the league and really gave them a solid on Saturday inside the Humphrey Coliseum as they soundly whipped Texas A&M, and now they get South Carolina at home, and then they go on the road for the final game of the regular season as they're looking to finish strong and get into the NCAA tournament. And we're going to discuss all that with Robbie Falk as he's going to talk some Mississippi State basketball for a few minutes. Robbie, thank you for joining us. How are you this morning?
Doing fine, guys. Heading down the highway, heading to Jackson, Mississippi, so might as well talk some basketball, I guess.
And am I assuming that you're heading to Jackson for baseball? What's going on?
I'm doing a little bit of both today. I'm on the high school beat this morning. I got to cover some high school basketball.
Of course. Okay, gotcha.
Mississippi Coliseum. They're playing the state championship, and then tonight I'll be at Pearl to cover Mississippi State and Southern Miss. So we got a full day of sports coming up.
Yeah, that's right. So Alabama high school basketball is in the state championship week. So Mississippi is as well.
Yes.
Okay.
Semifinals today. I'm covering a 2A team called East Webster.
Gotcha.
Which is in our Starkville Daily area, so I'll be up there, and we'll have semifinals and finals going on all week at the Mississippi Coliseum.
Well, let's throw in a little Mississippi State basketball as well because they play South Carolina tonight as well, and Joe Lunardi has them right now in the last four in category in the NCAA tournament. 7-9 in SEC play right now, playing some good basketball here down the stretch. But this is the type of game tonight where they have to win this one, because this would be a bad loss if it is an L.
Yes, you got to win this one. I think if you win this one, you should be in the NCAA tournament. Now right now they're on the right side of the bubble. They have been for the past couple of weeks, so they're technically in right now. But you can play yourself out. The bubble is not super strong this year. There's teams losing routinely that are on the bubble. So I think 8 wins in the SEC could get Mississippi State in, but they really need to close strong here. If they win the next 2 ball games, they are most definitely in. There's no question in my mind. And you probably pushed yourself out of that last 4 in category or whatever they've been bouncing in and out of. I think you win these next 2 games, you're firmly in, probably a 9 seed, which isn't a great spot to be in because you got that number 1 seed in the second round, but you're just happy to be in at this point. But tonight is most definitely a must-win for them. They cannot lose to South Carolina. South Carolina is in the, I think, 200s in the net, one of the worst teams in the SEC. But it is a dangerous team. We saw what they were able to do at Alabama last week. They've played some teams tough. They went to Rupp Arena and beat Kentucky, who's playing really good basketball right now. They got one of the best players in the country. So this is a team that Mississippi State can't take lightly. It's not a game that you think you're just going to come in and blow the brakes off this team. They play well on the road. They've been better on the road this year than they have been at home. So Mississippi State's got to be on high alert in this game. They got to be ready, and they got to win it, quite frankly. They need to get this victory to get closer and closer to securing that NCAA tournament berth.
Well, it's interesting because Scott and I just talked to John Schulman, the 8th seed at the Gulf South Conference, Mississippi College Choctaws, and they've played UAH exceedingly tough, split with them. Mississippi State has played Alabama tough twice. You talked about if they end up being the 9 seed, they could potentially play Alabama early in the SEC tournament in a quarterfinal. So and I think they would like their chances. They certainly matched up well the second time with Tulu Smith and those guys. And what's been the key for Chris Jansen? I mean, this team started 1-7 in conference play, but what's been the key to getting them turned around?
Well, I think just keeping their confidence level was huge for them because they were playing good basketball. It wasn't great, but they were in ball games. They were in the game against Tennessee late. They were in the game against Alabama. They actually were in position to win that ball game late against Alabama, but Bama was able to kind of close strong there. So they started 1-7, but that was not really indicative of how good Mississippi State had been. They just had not been able to find wins. Should have beat Florida. They could have beat Georgia. They could have beat Auburn. The first big victory was TCU at home in that SEC Big 12 Challenge. When they got that win, I thought we saw a shift in Mississippi State. And it really kind of started in that Alabama game, which came before the TCU game. They had played so well. They just had to keep that confidence because they were steadily getting better and better. Now they're starting to execute at a higher level on the offensive end. They're starting to hit free throws, which had plagued them early on in the schedule. And they've continued to be one of the better defensive teams in the country. And I think that's been the one constant with them. The defense has just been so good. So you start to execute a little bit more on the offensive end, and things change for you. Circumstances change. And that's what we've seen from them. And now you've seen them go on this hot streak. They've only lost to Kentucky and Missouri during the stretch. And that Missouri game came on the road in overtime. And Kentucky's playing as good a basketball as anybody in the SEC right now. So it's really been a really good stretch for them. They just need to close strong now and get themselves into the tournament. And that's going to be a team that nobody wants to play when March turns around.
I'm sorry, I did not pay attention from the roster from the very beginning to till now, but how much of the roster did Chris Jans have to redo or kind of, I guess, make his own going into this year? Or is this a lot of the guys that Ben Howland had from last year?
He's really only got 4, I think, contributors from last year.
Okay, so this is a whole new team.
Yeah, a ton of guys came in. The nucleus of the team is from last season. DJ Jeffries, Cam Matthews, Tolu Smith, Shaq Moore, those guys played a big factor in last season's team, but they lost the team's leading scorer in Iverson Molinar. They lost some other big pieces that were role players. They lost some really good players, and they've had to have some other guys step up. It's really, kind of a hodgepodge of guys that he brought in, and they weren't big-time players at other schools. Deshaun Davis was kind of a high assist guy for Oregon State. He's had to become a big offensive piece for them. Tyler Stevenson came from Southern Miss, has given them a lift off the bench. Eric Reed's been a good defensive piece for them off the bench. They have several guys that were not really on a lot of people's radar that have kind of filled some holes for them, and the roster's really starting to mesh now and mold into a good team at this point.
It is, and I think one of the things, we knew Coach Jans was going to bring a really good defensive mentality with him from New Mexico State, but they also control the pace. They want to keep the game in the 60s and the low 70s, and they were able. I knew they had really turned the corner. To me, I know he didn't play nearly as many minutes as he did against Alabama, but when they went into Fayetteville and beat Arkansas with Nick Smith available, I thought that was a huge win for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, that was huge because it really kind of changed the trajectory of getting into the tournament for Mississippi State. They didn't have a ton of quad one wins or big resume building wins, and going on the road and beating an NCAA tournament team, getting that quad one win from Arkansas, it really changed everything for them. Had they beaten Kentucky, this team would have already solidly been in the NCAA tournament, and you're working on seeding at that point. But they've started to pick up some marquee wins. You have a quad one win versus TCU, Arkansas, Texas A&M. I think they got one against Marquette. So the non-conference is good. Now you've built some in the conference, and you're really starting to build a solid resume now.
Yeah, you really are. And then you mentioned Davis, the transfer. I was at that game in Tuscaloosa, and he really played well against Alabama. And I think that's been one of the keys, too. Mississippi State's guard play was spotty early, but it's been a lot better and more consistent down this stretch.
Yeah, Shaq Moore is a huge piece for this team. He's kind of a spark plug for them. I've always said he's kind of the guy that the straw that stirs the drink. If he's not on or he's not producing on the offensive end, it seems like State really struggles. But on the nights where he's been really good, they've been able to keep pace with really good teams. They've had a nice offensive flow. He's a guy that really gets them going, and he turns defense into offense as good as anybody on the team as well. So both of those guys have been huge for them this year. Deshaun Davis has been kind of a surprise to me.
Yeah.
To see the spark that he's provided. He's a guy that can hit some big shots for you. Shaq Moore's kind of the same way. He can create his own shot, too. Those guys are huge for Mississippi State down the stretch. They're going to need them to come up big to win big games in March.
Well, as you said, Robbie, we're talking to Robbie Fox. We're wrapping it up. They need to win this game at home in the hump against South Carolina, but they go on the road to Nashville. So, in your mind, is that a must-win, or if they don't get the road victory in Nashville and it's a weird place to play, do they need to win a game or two and just staying in Nashville for the SEC tournament?
I think at this point, it really feels like if they win on Tuesday that they're in. But to feel 100% safe, you need to win in Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
And if you lose that game, you might need a game in the SEC tournament, maybe two. But right now, I think all the metrics are saying that Mississippi State's safe, and a win on Tuesday should secure their spot, I think.
Well, great stuff. We appreciate it, Robbie. Let everybody know how to follow your work for 24/7 Sports, and also, of course, for the Starkville Daily. I know, as you said, you've got high school athletics, and we love that here. So let everybody know how to follow you, man.
Yeah, you can find me at Robbie Falk 247 on Twitter. I also have a YouTube page where I talk Mississippi State sports on there. If you're into that, and then Robbie Falk SDN is my high school sports page if you're just interested in following some high school sports in that area. And that's with the Starkville Daily News. So
there it is.
doing a little bit of everything right now. Crossover season. We got high school sports. We got baseball and basketball. I mean, I'm staying pretty busy right now.
Well, that's always a good thing, brother. We appreciate it. Thank you. Safe travels.
Appreciate you guys.
Let's get that final break in. Tomorrow's headlines today when we return.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
We're beginning to wind things down quickly now. Our last reported accident was eastbound 565 near mile marker 7. Looks like it's going to be east of County Line, west of Glen Hearn. All the 565 eastbound traffic has majorly slowed down and even stopped there at times. Single car hit the guardrail. Highway 36 in Gum Springs and Morgan County may still be working. Pulaski Pike and Oakwood should be clear. No hose, no mask. You can ask Dr. Sandman, that's Dr. Sandlin, for the medically proven benefits of the Somnodent for sleep apnea and for snoring. Dr. Sandlin, 350-CARE. Captain Nick in the 72 and Jeff Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Who knows comfort? Well, comfort is our middle name. If your home isn't as comfortable as you want it to be, we can fix that. We service all makes and brands of heating and cooling systems, even if we didn't install them. So give us a call. Environmental Comfort Systems. Visit our website at envcomfort.com. We are your independently owned American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer. Alabama license number 92314. Environmental Comfort Systems. That's envcomfort.com.
Tom Abraham here for my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
Not looking or feeling your best? No energy for the things you like to do? Ready to look and feel younger? Make your appointment at Advanced Life Clinic, one of the region's foremost destinations for patients interested in looking and feeling their best. Specializing in advanced laser treatments and weight loss, male and female rejuvenation to offset the effects of aging, and more. See how Advanced Life Clinic can help you enjoy your life again. Call 256-882-6555 or log on advancedlifeclinic.com.
This is Wes Neighbors with Philip with Eagle Insulation, and we have an announcement to make.
Yes, Wes, we are now Eagle Masonry and Insulation. We're still a place to call for your insulation needs, but now we offer masonry services.
What kind of masonry projects can you handle?
Wes, no job is too big, no job is too small. We can do renovations, new construction, outdoor fireplaces, fire pits, brick landscape borders.
Well, when you came out to my house, you did both the insulation and masonry at the same time. You guys did rock for me, you did brick for me, and you insulated my house. That's usually done at the same time that you're building a house.
Absolutely. It really capitalizes on 2 services you need at the same time, and you can get one company to handle both of those.
Philip with Eagle Insulation will come out, do your installation. He'll do your masonry. They do a great job. They guarantee your work. Check out more online at insulatedwitheagle.com and schedule your free examination today. 256-755-1556.
Thanks, Wes.
It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone, and your tomorrow's headlines today. And the UNA Lions, North Alabama Lions, the women are headed to the ASUN Conference tournament, and I believe the men are as well.
Yes.
But yesterday, big day for Jakari Lane.
awesome
day for Jakari Lane.
Huge honor.
Got several honors, actually. I think he made the all freshman team.
He did.
He made how about this? The sixth man of the year.
The Vinnie Johnson Award is what I call it.
In the ASUN. But that's not it. He also grabbed, I believe, he won 3 awards yesterday. Freshman of the year as well. So he got freshman of the year. He got sixth man of the year. And then he was also on the all freshman guard as well. He becomes the second Lion to claim the ASUN Freshman of the Year honors, joining Jamari Blackman in 2019.
Yeah, I mean, he got honored 3 times by the ASUN Conference, and he's been a huge reason that Tony Pujols' team has been so hot down the stretch, is Jakari Lane. He's come off the bench. He's been very aggressive, played very well. I thought he was the best player in the city of Huntsville last year. I said if he were 2 inches taller, he would have been offered by everyone. And I thought Willie Watson and Tony Pujols had stolen Jakari Lane, and I believe that now they have to hold on to Jakari Lane because we know how things work now.
People will come and try to poach him.
Yeah, I mean, we saw what happened with Ohio University, and Mark Sears ended up at Alabama.
I was going to say, is this a similar thing to Mark Sears? But, I mean, Jakari Lane's playing close to home.
He is, and I'm sure that Tony Pujols and UNA are going to do everything they can to hold on to him. They're going to build a program around him.
Say that.
But I mean, that's just the way the climate is. But they recruited him very well. They sold him on staying close to home. They've sold him on doing that. They're showcasing his talent in their system. So certainly, Jakari made the right decision.
All right, that is really the biggest headline going on out there right now, and that is the Jakari Lane North Alabama thing. Don't forget, coming up tonight, though, again, we want to remind everyone. I'm just laughing because I know we got it. Yeah. North Alabama, UAH, my bad. UAH at home tonight, 7 o'clock, taking on Mississippi College. It is the quarterfinal action of the Gulf South Conference tournament.
Now the question would be, would you and Tokyo Drift try to remake a smaller version of Smokey and the Bandit? Smokey and the Bandit tried it in 10 hours or whatever the hell it was to go get 400 cases of Coors and bring it back from Texarkana, Texas. Are you guys going to try to go get lunch at the Big Chief and bring it back before the game?
Well, that could easily be done. But no, the Czar and I've got to go with the Czar to Cherokee Ridge today.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. After his show at 2:30.
Are y'all going to take a Bassmaster boat out in one of the ponds? Hell, I don't know. I'm just asking.
No, we are not. No.
Oh, well.
No.
Brought to you by the XFL.
Just stay in your lane, right?
Right.
Are you looking for a quality job? Well, the University of Alabama in Huntsville is having a career fair for custodians, technicians, and maintenance and landscaping professionals to join their UAH facilities team. You can enjoy a good work-life balance on a beautiful campus, excellent benefits, training opportunities, and a respectful team atmosphere. Visit our career fair on Wednesday, March 1st from 3 to 6 p.m.
In the next 4 years, I'm going to Denver University.
Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management